Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Bosses Only, the video series where we look at just the bosses from a dungeon, because you're not stuck on trash, you're stuck on bosses. From the Ascending Tide DLC, this is Coral Aerie. When you get to this area on the map, here is the location of the first secret boss, so let's just speed the video up and get to the door, and go on through. When you get into this area, you want to run over to that big square thing in the middle of the room, and there'll be a prompt. Interact with it to make the boss spawn. And then the tank, of course, usual routine. Stab him, get his attention, turn him away from everybody else. Now, once he smacks the tank, there's going to be a great big huge electric circle that goes on everybody. Spread out a bit, you don't want to overlap those because you'll take more damage, and you're just constantly taking pulsing electrical damage from those. You just need to out-heal it, it's very, very minor. This boss is as tank and spank as it gets, just keep on shooting him in the buttocks until he falls down dead, and you will be able to loot all your lockpicks and other dank rubbish. Very dank. With him dead, run to the edge and take a look at that great big slowed monster shrinking down. I wonder what's going on here. And it looks like there's another two platforms just like the one we're standing on around this big room. But for now, let's head through this portal, which is going to take us to the first proper boss, Maligalig. Now, this thing is difficult. There are a lot of moving parts in this fight, so let's get to it. Tank, first of all, you're going to want to taunt it, try to turn it away from the group. For the tank, there is a really big hit that will put an oblivion dot on you. You're going to want to dodge roll and dodge roll again. You'll see the hits coming, just dodge roll real quick and dodge roll a second time immediately. If you get hit, you'll take constant damage. Now, this mechanic that you're seeing, someone's going to get a circle on them, and somewhere in the room there's going to be a big ring. Whoever has the circle needs to take the circle to the ring to make the mechanic go away. There are also all these little tiny spiders, and if you get this red icon above your head, know that some are going to charge towards you and explode. You need to dodge roll away really quick, or it's going to be a bad day for you. Take a look to the left of the screen, we're going to see that circle and ring mechanic again. If you get the circle under your feet, you'll be taking constant damage. The way to get rid of it, run it to that ring and it disappears. Now, once you've got Maligalig down to roughly 65% health, the whole room fills up with water and becomes a great big swirling, flushing toilet. Synergize to get up onto one of these platforms, and your main target is the electrical spider in the middle. These adds will cause you to take constant damage from electricity that builds up stack after stack once per second. Once you've got about 5 stacks of this damage on you, jump into the water and wait. Once you synergize, you'll see a flash indicating the stacks have fallen off. There it is. And then start working on this electric spider. You can kill the adds and that'll stop the stacks from building up, but honestly it's better to just wait until you've got about 5 of those stacks. You'll see these flashes on your body, and then jump in the water, move to the next platform, wait for the stacks to fall off, synergize to get yourself up and work on the spider, and go around like that. Just a little bit of damage at a time. There's no DPS checks, there's no rush. Let the tank taunt the adds and keep them away from everybody. Work on the spider a little bit until you've got too many stacks, then jump in the water. If too many stacks build up on you, you'll take too much damage and die, and it is really difficult to get reses in this fight just because you're constantly having to jump into the water, jump back onto a platform, and so on and so forth. But the easiest way to do it is to just take your time. Synergize your way up. Wait until the stacks are gone, attack the electric spider, jump back in the water. Wait till the stacks are gone, synergize your way out until all 3 are dead, and then we'll land back in the middle here and we can continue fighting Maligalig, and it's the same thing again. Someone's going to get the circle under their feet, they'll need to run it to the ring to get rid of that mechanic. Little tiny spiders are going to spawn. If you get an icon above your head, dodge roll away because they'll run up to you and explode, and the little blue ones run around and do a lot of damage as well. The tank, again, needs to keep an eye on that really big hit that the boss does. It'll be a charge up and then a bite. Dodge roll, and then a second follow-up attack comes. Dodge roll again immediately. If either of those hits gets on you, you'll receive a dot that does oblivion damage, and it's just awful. It's really difficult even for a fully spec'd healer to out-heal on the hard mode. So be careful, and tank, don't miss any dodge rolls if you can avoid it. Once you get Maligalig down to about 40-35% health, the toilet mechanic is going to happen all over again, and again I'll probably just speed that section up because you know what you're doing. You'll synergize your way up. There's an electric spider and some smaller adds. Tank can taunt the smaller adds and keep them to one side. Everybody else attack the electric spider. Just keep an eye on your body. Once you see 5 bright flashes, or maybe 6, you've got enough stacks that you're probably going to start taking serious damage and need to get in the water. So at 5 stacks, jump in the water and swirl your way around and synergize up to the next platform, and just keep slowly, bit by bit, working on it in that way until you've whittled all 3 spiders down. In fact, we'll speed the video up again because you really don't need to see this in real time. It goes on forever. We do a bit of damage until we've got enough stacks, we get in the water, wait for them to come off, synergize our way out, attack the spider a bit more, wait till we've got enough stacks, jump in the water, synergize our way out, attack the next spider, have a whoopsie, get rezzed, jump in the water, synergize up, and just go round and round like that until eventually you've got all 3 electrical spiders defeated, at which point you'll come down to finally finish off Maligalig. Which will be any moment now. Not right now though, because we haven't finished. Well, I guess I've got some time to fill in. How's it going? Are you watching this video 100 years in the future? Is ESO still going? Is Maligalig any easier? Has it been nerfed, or did they buff her? Because it's a difficult fight, not gonna lie. Looks like we're done, very dank. Back down we go, and we can finish off Maligalig. Same thing again. Tank needs to dodge roll that bite, otherwise he's going to get the 𝕊𝕑𝕬𝕑𝕑 on him. It's 2 dodge rolls, dodge, dodge again. Someone will get the circle under their feet, take it to the ring, and that'll get rid of that. If you get the icon above your head, dodge roll again before a spider runs up and explodes on you. The little blue spiders, they don't have much health, just kill them real quick or run away from them. Your main target is Maligalig. We've almost got her. Just keep working on her, be very careful of the oblivion damage, stay out of her mouth at all costs. And if you get that circle and ring mechanic, pay attention to that and get rid of it, otherwise you'll keep on taking damage. It's quite awful. So, it's not an easy fight. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot to learn, but once you figure it out, you'll have no trouble defeating her, and you can loot your lockpicks and make your way to the next secret boss, which on the map, the entrance is here when you get to this area. So you'll want to run up this tunnel and go through this door, which will lead you into the room where you will fight secret boss number 2, the Staff Guardian. So, run up to this arcane ward and interact with it to make him spawn, and then tank, taunt him, turn him away from everybody else. This boss will immediately spawn a gigantic dangerous circle on everybody, so just get out of them and onto some clear space, and pretty much he's just going to be smacking the tank. Eventually he will teleport and summon a big explosion, and all these traps will get replaced, but I think we actually kill him before he does it. In either case, you're not going to have any trouble with this. Much like the Sword Guardian, it is tank and spank. As long as you shoot him in the butt, you're not going to have too much trouble, and then you can watch this slowed shrink a little more. What is going on here? We're getting closer to finding out, but for now, let's head to the second proper boss. This is Sarydil. Much like with Maligalig, there is a lot going on in this fight, many moving parts, many mechanics. Let's get started. Tank Taunter, try to turn her away from the group. This lady jumps around a lot. This is a very, very mobile fight. You're not going to have any tank and spank here. You're going to have a lot of moving around. So, first thing she does, she zips across the room, and behind her she leaves this trail of little explosives. If you step in any of those, they're going to blow up. Now, while she's over here, she's channeling and throwing knives at everybody. You can interrupt her to stop her, or you can just let her keep doing it and damage her more, but you will be taking damage the whole time, so have a heal over time, or make sure the healer is paying attention. Now, after she's done this for a bit, she's going to pick a random person. They get this icon above their head, and they're going to be placing all these little explosive circles underneath their feet. You'll want to sort of kite around somewhere out of the way to place them all so that nobody else takes damage. And after you've damaged her a bit, she's going to disappear. I'm going to speed the video up here, and she'll summon 4 waves of 4 adds. So 4, 4, 4, 4 like that, and you'll have to kill them all. There's going to be archers, mages, little knife guys. They're just little annoying blokes, and the whole time she is up top firing down. You can see them, they're everywhere, all these little explosive things. So you need to watch out, move around, make sure you're placing them away from the group, like just get them out of the way like that. After you've killed all of these groups of adds, she is going to come back, and everywhere where there's an explosive on the floor, they're going to expand and explode, so make sure you're not in any of them, and now you can damage her again. And it's going to be more of the same. She's going to zip across the room and leave a bunch of explosives behind and start channeling and throwing knives at everybody. Watch out for the dagger storm as well. When she does that, she'll spin in a circle and throw daggers out everywhere in like a big ring of explosive circles that then expands and explodes. Now, at this point in the fight, she summons these 2 mages, and they will put constant pulsing damage on you every time they channel. You'll want to either kill them or just interrupt them. I prefer just ignore them, because if you do kill them, they respawn after a few seconds anyway. It's better to just keep an eye on them, and when they start channeling, interrupt them as quick as you can. Either run up to them and bash, or have crushing shock. There's the dagger storm again. Watch out for that big exploding circle. And just be mindful at all times under your feet, because if she targets you, you're going to have one circle after another getting placed right at your location. You want to back up and keep them away from everybody else. Now, after you've damaged her a bunch here, she zips across the room again. Watch out for all these explosive circles and try not to step in any. Remember to keep an eye on those mages as well and interrupt them the second they start channeling. And after we've damaged her a bit more, she is going to disappear again, and we're going to have to deal with waves of adds. But this time, there's an extra beefy, bulky cat monster. Here he is. Now, he's got some mechanics of his own. He'll target people, and there'll be explosives under your feet. He also uses Standard of Might. Now, while you're fighting him, you're still going to have to deal with the other ads that come down, and Sarydil herself up top, constantly shooting people. Also, watch out for these enormous electrical circles and don't get caught in them. They are quite terrible. Remember to keep interrupting those mages. Now, once you've got this big beefy cat down, Sarydil is going to return whether there are more ads up or not. So make sure you single her out, tab target her if you have to, here she is, and keep an eye on the floor, because once again she's going to zip across the room to start channeling and throwing knives and leave all these little explosive circles out everywhere. Now, one mechanic we haven't seen yet, but what we're about to, is Sarydil will split into multiple copies of herself all around the room in between all these pillars, and you're going to have to interrupt them, either run up and bash or crushing shock. I recommend crushing shock. Interrupt every single one until you find the real one. If you don't do it quick enough, somebody is going to be targeted and every copy will shoot that one person. It usually ends up with them dead. Interrupt them as quickly as you can until only the real one is revealed, and then you can continue fighting her. And same thing again, watch out for Dagger Storm, watch out for these big circles, and interrupt the mages if you see them channeling, like the one on the left there that everybody is ignoring that really needs to be bashed because of these big electrical circles. It's very important that you take care of that. Again, don't ever take your eyes off the floor, because she is constantly throwing circles, dropping little explosive things. There's fire circles, electric circles, these little explodey things. It's just nonsense and rubbish everywhere. So eyes on the ground at all times. Keep your eye on Sarydil, follow her around. If we don't bash her here, she'll keep channeling and we can damage her a bit more for free. Make sure you're watching the mages as well and interrupt them the moment they start channeling. At this point in the fight, with the ads dealt with, it's significantly easier. Pretty much just watch Sarydil, interrupt the mages, and keep your eye on the floor, but you're not going to have any more interruptions from ads because you've finally defeated them, except for the mages. Make sure you're bashing them. Had a whoopsie. See if we can do something about that. Again, the Dagger Storm mechanic. She'll spin, she'll throw out all these fiery daggers, and then there's a huge explosion. Make sure you were nowhere near that. 2 whoopsies. It's getting a bit dangerous now. Keep your eye on the mage there on the left. As soon as she starts channeling, she needs to be interrupted. Just a sliver of health left, and of course she's zipping away again, so you'll need to chase her down. And again, keep your eye out, don't step in those mines. But she is dead, so we can loot all of our lovely lockpicks and make our way to the third and final secret boss. When you get to this area of the map, you'll have to pick a lock to get into this little room, and then here is the entrance to the final secret boss. So again, run up to the arcane ward and interact with it to make him spawn. And as always, tank, taunt him, turn him away from the group. Now again, this is basically tank and spank. Everybody get behind him, and he's mostly going to be smacking the tank. After you get him down roughly halfway, he's going to shield up and be invincible, and 3 blokes are going to spawn around the room that are giving like magical strength to the shield, so you need to kill each of the 3. It's best if everybody gangs up on one and takes him down really quick and just go round from one guy to another. But as soon as those 3 are dead, there's no more strength for his magical shield, and it'll be gone, and you can continue smacking him in the bum until he dies. It's a very, very straightforward fight. Tank, just keep him taunted and nobody else is going to have too much trouble. He sure is hunky though. And there we go, just like that, we've looted our lockpicks and we can see that slowed shrink down to his minimum size. Something tells me we're going to be paying him a visit, but before that, we've got the final main boss, Varallion, and his 4 disgusting chicken pets. Well, it's actually only 3 chicken pets if you do regular vet, but this is hard mode, so there is going to be a 4th one. Now, tank, taunt him, turn him away from the group. 2 people are going to get a swirly dot under their feet. Here it is. You'll want to place it near the edge of the room because it leaves a circle of oblivion damage just permanently there once it's there. So once it appears, get out of it immediately. And now we've got these tidal waves. There are 2 and there are 3 rounds of it. So 2 very close together. You'll want to find the gap between them and get out. Then another 2 and then another 2. This time it's an L shape. The boss will also, at 90% health, summon down a random one of his chicken griffin pets. This one is 𝕊𝕬𝕣𝕖. Now, 𝕊𝕬𝕣𝕖 likes to summon tornadoes. You can see them here. They sort of swirl around on the spot wherever they're summoned. You just need to avoid them. Eventually, they'll go away. The griffins also like to rear up on their back legs and slam down. You'll see like a cone that telegraphs when that's happening. Make sure you're not in it. You want to tab target the griffins and take them out as quickly as possible. Make them your priority targets, and that's for good reason, because once the boss gets down to 80% health, it just happened. Whether the first griffin is dead or not, the second one is coming down, and this time it is 𝕊𝕐𝕐. 𝕊𝕐𝕐 is arguably the hardest and the easiest simultaneously. Hardest if you're the tank, easiest if you're anyone else. The reason he's hard for the tank is the dots that he puts on you. They're absolutely horrendous. They're very difficult to out-heal. Healer really needs to pay attention to the tank when 𝕊𝕐𝕐 is alive, but in any case, whenever griffins are out, griffins are priority target. They've got to be taken out, so that you're not dealing with them and the boss at the same time. Here we are having the tidal wave mechanic again. Remember, it happens 3 times and there are 2 each time. They'll be in a random place and you need to find the gaps between them or the clear space and dodge roll out as quick as possible. If you are hit by a tidal wave, you will die immediately. It's a one-shot. Now pay attention to this laser beam that's between me, the tank, and 𝕃𝕀𝒂𝒎𝒑. Whenever the boss picks 2 people to put this beam on, they are going to have to stay very close together and move in unison. If you get too far apart, the beam will break and you'll both die. If a third player breaks the beam by walking into it, all 3 of you will die. It's very important that the 2 people that are tethered stay close together, move together, and stay away from anyone else. Anyone who doesn't have the tether, stay away from the tethered people. This mechanic can wipe the group if it goes wrong. Tidal wave can still happen. These little circles of oblivion damage can still happen, all while the tether is going on. So the 2 people that are tethered together, keep an eye on each other, communicate and move together. If you get separated, it's going to be all over real quick. Continue working on the boss and watch out for these dots underneath your feet. If you do get them, you want to try to place them towards the edge of the room. We're having the tidal waves happen again. Remember, this happens 3 times and there are 2 each time, so you need to look for the gaps between them or the clear space and get to it as quickly as you possibly can. Another mechanic that happens during this fight, someone will get that little red icon above their head and a ball will float towards them. That person will want to destroy it far away from everybody else, otherwise it will explode and send out a shockwave that knocks everybody flying. And if you land in the water, this water is full of slaughterfish and you will die. Now, 𝕊𝕬𝕼𝒼, what a horrible dinosaur she is. She summons a gigantic lightning circle that will follow a random person. Everyone will just have to keep moving. It covers most of the room and it will follow you very slowly. You've just got to keep moving. Constant lightning coming down that you'll have to watch out for and get out of. And again, that tether can happen even during all of this. So the 2 people that are tethered, it's me and Cat again, we're going to have to move in unison, be very careful of where we're standing, communicate effectively, and tell each other ahead of time which direction you're going to roll if you have to dodge roll. Like right now, for example, where we've got to get out of the tidal waves. Fortunately, the beam ended before that was a problem. But again, remember, keep an eye on the person you're tethered to. The 2 of you need to move together and move in unison. If that beam breaks, it's all over. 𝕊𝕬𝒼 giving us a lot of trouble, but once we get her taken down, it'll get significantly easier, at least for a little while. And now once again we're seeing that tether mechanic, so the 2 people that are tethered, they need to stay very close together, move in unison, don't get too far apart. If that beam breaks, remember, it is going to be over. It is very difficult to get reses in this fight due to just the amount of rubbish all over the floor. You can see these oblivion circles, the lightning still coming from 𝕊𝕬𝒼, although we've almost got her killed, and once she's dead we're not going to have to worry anymore. If this was regular Vet, that would be it for Griffins, but this is hard mode, and Varallion's got one last chicken up his sleeve, 𝕃𝕀𝒂𝒎𝒑, the really big bulky one, and she'll be coming down very soon. Until then, just keep working on him, watch out for tidal waves, watch out for that ball coming in, don't go in the water. Here's the tidal waves. So there's going to be 3 again. Here's 2 in a T-shape and get out of these. Remember, it's a one-shot if you're in there, and then there'll be a 3rd lot. Here it is, and get out of that. And now we want to remember to get out of that circle as soon as it explodes, because that is oblivion damage and it hurts a lot. And here comes 𝕃𝕀𝒂𝒎𝒑. Now things are going to get interesting for the last stage of the fight. Varallion is going to become invincible, and you can't hurt him at all until 𝕃𝕀𝒂𝒎𝒑 dies. 𝕃𝕀𝒂𝒎 has moves of her own. Aside from the big slam down attack and the claw attacks that we've seen from all the other Griffins, there's this great big lightning tornado thing in the center of the room, which sort of splits the room into 4 sections. Now you can block and roll through those little lightning circles on the floor. They don't do too much damage, but if you're in them too long, it is gonna hurt. But don't worry so much about these swirly things. Just block, roll through them, walk through them. They aren't the issue. The issue is everything else in the room. The tidal waves, the tether, these dots, and that ball can all still happen during this, and Varallion is still running around smacking everybody, but you can't hurt him. You can't do a thing to him until 𝕃𝕀𝒂𝒎𝒑 is dead. We're tethered, which is dangerous because we've got the tidal wave happening, but this shows just how dangerous it is. You really need to be close together and moving in unison. If that beam breaks, it will be all over. Just keep focusing on 𝕃𝕀𝒂𝒎𝒑, block and make your way through these spinning things. Alternatively, you can simply stay between 2 and move with them as they spin around the room. But we found it much easier to just block, not worry too much about the little electric things on the floor, and focus on the boss more than anything. Heals were absolutely great here, which is always good because this is a very, very tough fight with a lot of very heavy hits. But 𝕃𝕂𝒔𝒎𝒑𝒔's biggest issue is this tornado, and as you can see, it's really not so bad. Don't spend too long being hit by these circles as they swoosh past you, and you won't take too much damage. You just need to get 𝕃𝒂𝒑 killed, and then the boss will no longer be invincible, and you can finish him off too. Here is that ball that I've been talking about. You can see the icon above Cat's head. You just need to lead it away from the group and let it explode. Unfortunately, we've had a whoopsie, so we'll just speed the video up here because we're still stuck fighting, but as soon as we get a chance, we'll come around and get that res. There we go. We're all alive except for that person. That's alright. It was a practice. We'll get them up too. We nearly got Varallion dead at this point. Now, this tornado is going to stay even though 𝕃𝒂𝒑 is dead. So, again, just, you know, don't worry too much about those little swooshy things. They don't do too much damage. Just don't move with them and stay in them or you're going to end up dead. But they can pass over you and you'll be basically unharmed. We've got another ball floating in. Same thing again, just let it follow you, get far away from everybody else in the group, at which point you can block and let it explode, and no harm will come to you. If you're too close to the group, that shockwave that comes out from it will knock them flying, and if they end up in the sea, they're going to be dead because of the slaughterfish. Got the tether again, so remember the two people that are tethered need to stay close together and nobody else must touch the beam. If you get too far apart and the beam breaks, you die. If a third person touches the beam, all three of you die. It's a bad time. Stay close together, communicate, move as a unit, and keep focusing on that boss. We've almost got him now. Here come the swooshy things, just roll on through. Is that beam ever going to go away? Well, I don't think it's going to matter, because guess who's about to die? Not us, you, Varallion. Please. No, he's still alive. Wow, he's strong. Here comes another ball. And he's dead, finally. Very dang. Alright, loot your lockpicks and your 𝕃𝒂𝒑 mask so that you can put it on and wear it. And then we're going to go through this portal over here that's going to appear if we did the side bosses, which is going to lead us to the final super secret boss in the middle of that same area where we fought all the other secret bosses. So this is 𝕊𝒂𝒂𝒎, uncle to 𝕊𝒑𝒎𝒂𝒏, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, what's going on here? Let's find out. Tank, taunt him, turn him away from the group. Now, I should point out, normally, if you do all three secret bosses and you do all three main boss hard modes, this final secret boss will also be hard mode, but we actually recorded this on two separate runs. You might notice all the secret bosses, we've got two different group mates to when we did the main bosses, and that's because we just plain forgot. But anyway, if this boss was on hard mode, the only difference is it's more health and it's a bit more damage. There are no extra mechanics on the hard mode, it's otherwise functionally identical. So pretty much shoot the boss as much as you can, and eventually, after the boss has taken a bit of damage, he's going to summon this big circle and go through it. You can synergize with that to teleport through it like I just did there, or you can just run to wherever the boss goes. Once you get the boss to about halfway down, it's going to go invincible just like that one secret boss, and this big tentacle will need to be killed to make that shield go away. So once you do that, you can fight the boss again, and it's the same thing. Beat it up a bunch, it'll teleport across the room, it's going to summon balls that explode on you, tentacles that swoosh around, and there's various poo all over the floor, these explodey circle things that it summons. This is a really straightforward fight, especially after the absolute chaos that was Maligalig, Sarydil and Varallion on their hard modes. 𝕊𝒂𝒂𝒏 is nothing like as difficult, even if it was on the hard mode, where all you get, like I said, is more health and a bit more damage. This is as straightforward as it gets. Chase the boss around, kill the tentacle if it makes it invincible, avoid all the balls, watch out for the mind blast and other things. It's very similar to the 𝕊𝒂𝒑 fight in Cloud Rest if you've done that. And pretty much that's it. Chase it around, shoot it, avoid all the balls, and eventually you'll win, and you'll get to loot all of your lovely, magnificent lockpicks and other dankies. And a lead. Yeah. Which is really dank. So, that's the end of that. Remember to like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of new videos. If you don't, this Nixhound will be under your bed tonight. Here's all the things you can follow. There's X and, I can't remember next, Instagram. There we go. Yeah, you know, that thing. Follow all the things and stuff. And more importantly, come check out the stream at twitch.tv/Catatonia. I'll see you there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Bosses Only.